So throughout this stay-at-home time, I have observed the whole range of emotions in myself. At times, uncertainty, worry, and frustration. And other times, gratitude and hope. And the same very much applies to my relationship with God. There has been a whole range of ways that I have responded to God during this crisis. I am a mixture of faith and doubt, and honestly, the proportion of those fluctuates from day to day. And I think this can be true of any of us at any time, not only during a time of challenge. Thomas, one of Jesus' disciples, was a great example of this. Poor Thomas is mostly remembered for his very famous moment of doubt. In John chapter 20, verses 24 through 29, Jesus has risen from the dead and visited with a bunch of his disciples. But Thomas wasn't with them when Jesus appeared. So when they share the story of their experience with him, he basically says, I'll believe it when I see it. He says, unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my fingers where the nails were and put my hand in his side, I will not believe. But this doubting Thomas is the same Thomas who just a few chapters earlier had the faith to follow Jesus into a hazardous, even life-threatening situation. In John chapter 11, Jesus' close friend Lazarus is sick and dying. Jesus receives this news and makes plans to visit Lazarus and his family. But there's a slight problem. Lazarus was in Judea, and the people had not responded well to Jesus and his ministry. In fact, Jesus' disciples respond to Jesus' travel plans by saying, "But Rabbi, a short while ago, the Jews there tried to stone you, and yet you are going back?" What's important here is Thomas' response. Knowing the danger, and that Jesus is going to travel to Judea regardless of the danger, Thomas is the one to say to the other disciples, "Let us also go, that we may die with him." Thomas responds with great faith in this moment, because he trusts the experience he's had of Jesus. He's had almost 3 years of instances just like this one, where he doesn't exactly know what's going on, Jesus is saying things that don't entirely make sense to him, but whenever he follows Jesus, whenever he does as he asks or goes where he goes, he knows that he sees God at work. Thomas has seen all sorts of situations work out in ways he never could have dreamed. His experience with Jesus gives him the courage to literally stake his life on Jesus. He responds full of faith. The man who just a few moments later would experience great doubt. And that doubt comes following Jesus' death. And it comes in a moment of grief, confusion, fear, and crisis, all very normal emotional responses. And consumed by them, he has temporarily lost sight of his previous experience with Jesus. And that's when the doubt creeps in. Of course, I love the way that Jesus responds to Thomas' doubt. Not with judgment. He meets Thomas where he's at. Look, see, touch, hear. Thomas, experience me. I am with you. Where are you at right now? If your response to God right now is doubt, what are your questions and doubts right now? Share them honestly with Jesus and ask him to meet you in your uncertainty. He longs to hear from you no matter what it is that you have to say. If your response to God right now is doubt, how have you experienced God in the past? It can be really hard to recall those moments during a crisis, but seek out in your memory a moment that you can remember God's faithfulness to you. And I pray that that memory fills you with confidence, because the God who was faithful before will be faithful again. And if your response to God right now is faith, you can be a blessing to others. Go gently. Do not minimize or judge the questions of those who have them. But you can be a steadying presence for those who are struggling. Your stories of God's faithfulness are important. You can be a quiet, reassuring voice of hope for those who wonder if God is real and where He is in the midst of crisis. Let's embrace Thomas. I want to be as faith-filled and as steadfast as Thomas was in John chapter 11. I also want to be as honest as Thomas was in John chapter 20. Honest with my questions and honest with my doubts. Whatever your response to God during this crisis, know that Jesus will meet you there.